Flags on the field. It's a miracle. Tennessee has pulled a miracle.
Welcome into the Feels Like 99 podcast, the home of your 4-3 Tennessee Titans. I'm your host, Drake Kizer, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Caleb Waters.
Typically, I would start off by saying something clever about the game, but since it was the bye week, I thought I'd let our listeners know that the Titans are still 2 years away from the end of Ken Whisenhunt's contract that he signed in 2014. I'm sure our listeners remember that. He hasn't coached the Titans since Marcus Mariota's rookie season, and he won just 3 games in 23 tries.
That is absolutely insane, man. And to be honest with you, the one thing that I think of when I think of Coach Whisenhunt in Tennessee is Matt Leinart criticizing him and telling us from the day that we hired him, this guy is a bum. Literally, other than the years that he had with Kurt Warner as a head coach, he is worthless. And we all thought, oh, Matt Leinart's just a bitter old quarterback, whatever. I think he was right.
Yeah, man, he really was. Just looking back, I mean, you're sitting there with the first game of Marcus's career against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the first overall pick, Jameis Winston, and we went out there and we beat them bad. I mean,
oh, yeah, that was an impressive performance.
And they were running plays that they knew that he would be able to execute, and it made me thinking about that game. Also had me thinking about the game in 2014 against Kansas City, where we beat them 24-3 with Dexter McCluster's first game along with Whisenhunt. And it's just kind of, ever since we would come out in that first game and we would dominate, it would be, the Titans would go 2-14 or, something absurd. And looking back, like this first game, against the Raiders, and I think even last year, I'm not sure. Who did we play first game last year?
Our first game last year, I'm pretty sure, was I'm not even sure
I think
who
it was Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota it was, because it was the game. Sam Bradford didn't even play. It was Sean Hill.
That's right. Wow.
Yep. Sean Hill played that game, and it was absolutely a train wreck, because how in the world did the Tennessee Titans not get a win over the Vikings week 1 last year when it was Sean Hill at quarterback, not Bridgewater, not Bradford, anybody?
It's unreal, man. It really just makes me sick thinking about it.
And that could have been the one win more that we would have needed for playoffs or just anything. I mean, just think how much that week 1 win would have helped us down the stretch.
It's crazy, man. Like, we could look back on, that Miami game where I'm sure our listeners have seen they shipped everybody out of there.
Yes, they've got rid of Jay Ajayi. See, I was listening to Pardon My Take earlier today, and they actually said that they were talking to Ian Rappaport from NFL Network, and he said that Adam Gase and Jay Ajayi had not been on the same page at all. They said they were trying to ship him out of town before his breakout season last year, and they were pretty much shopping him all off season this year after his breakout season. And then at this point where their season is kind of down the tubes, Adam Gase is just trying to get him out of town because he doesn't want to look at him anymore.
It's pretty wild to think about how that, like you just said, their season's down the drain, and they still beat us.
Exactly. That's what's disappointing. It's really hard to believe that we couldn't have pulled out a victory. I know Matt Castle was playing, but even still, we had every opportunity to be able to win that game.
You're right, and I just – dude, I don't really have many hot takes on this, but Matt Castle's a bum, man. I'm sorry. I know he's a good, backup, I guess, but what are backups for? They're to go in and play, when you need them to. I would have traded for a backup quarterback or something.
Oh, yeah. We could have done something to address our need for a backup quarterback. And I'm sure they thought, oh, well, if he comes in for 1 or 2 games, he performed pretty well last season, and he did win us that Jaguars game last year at the end of the season. But the thing is, he had another injury last off season into this season. He's an older guy anyway, and so it's just like, man, my thing is, I think we could have done a little bit better.
You're right. You're definitely right. I mean, we could be sitting, like Jacksonville right now and not even have a starting quarterback.
Exactly. Like I do. I like Blake Bortles. He's a great guy. He's really funny on Pardon My Take. Him and Big Cat and PFT have a lot of great conversations and interviews and whatever else, but I just don't know if that dude's actually an NFL starter. Like, great guy, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think Jacksonville just put too much weight on his shoulders too quick, and I think it's been showing. If you've ever seen the top of his head, it's really stressful for him.
Yeah, dude, he is struggling with that hair. Like, he's either got to do some hair plugs or he's got to get rid of that thing, man. It's bad, really bad.
Yeah, you sent me that picture today, and I was in shock. Like, I didn't believe it was him. I thought it was a Photoshop picture. He almost looks, I'm not sure of his name, but the bald guy with hair on the sides of his head,
yeah,
he looks just like that guy.
If you've ever seen Frasier, like that old show Frasier, that's literally Frasier's head right there, like bald on the top, and he's got the long sides. Like, boy, it's bad. It is really bad.
It really is, man. But, as bad as his hair is, Jacksonville has been a lot better.
Exactly. And that's pretty good transition there into our first topic of the week this week. Obviously, the Titans were on the bye this week. And so we were kind of just looking around the NFL, seeing what was going on, and looking around our division to see what's going on. And so after the bye week, the Titans are still tied for first with Jacksonville. We're both at 4-3, and we won that tiebreaker because we wiped the field with them earlier this season in impressive fashion. But Houston is sitting at 3-4, and Indianapolis is sitting at 2-6. So not smooth sailing for the AFC South division. I really do think that the Titans and Jags are going to be the ones to run away with this division. What do you think?
I agree. I think that the Houston Texans got the best overall player in the draft in Deshaun Watson. As much as I don't want to admit it, he's going to be good for a long time, and I cannot believe the Cleveland Browns passed on him. Deshaun Watson could have been the LeBron James for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is obviously showing at this point that he is a baller, and, I mean, you can say that the Browns ruined quarterbacks or whatever else like that. And that is true. I mean, you can only play as well as the talent that you have around you. I've always said that. But you can't tell me that he would not be still raising others on that team at least a little bit to his level, because he is leaps and bounds ahead of anything else they've got.
I mean, yeah, you look at who they took, Deshaun Kizer. I thought that he would be much better because the Browns had a really good draft. But now, looking back, it's like, did they, though? Like, I mean, you look at the guys on paper, and they should technically be good, but they're not because they've got that funk about them, just like the Lions did when they went 0-16. Like, you just can't win.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to take something like the Lions. I can't remember exactly what happened after that 0-16 season, but I don't think that pretty much anybody, other than maybe like ownership or whatever else, I don't think there's a person in their building right now who is a part of that 0-16 season. So in my opinion, the Browns pretty much at some point or another have got to clean house completely. I mean, anybody and everybody involved, and just say, look, we have got to start this thing literally from the ground up with some personnel guys and whatever else, and just try to restart this thing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the Haslam family basically owns the Browns. They also, which I'm not sure that you know this, but the Haslam family, Bill Haslam and Jimmy and then Jim Haslam, they own the Browns, and they pretty much own the Tennessee Volunteers football program, which they are driving into the ground right now, just like Cleveland. And like you said, it's going to take almost like Cubs or Red Sox. Like for the Cubs this past year, well, these past years, I should say, they tanked. But when Epstein cleaned house, championship not too long later.
And see, that's the thing you got to do. You've got to get people in your organization that know how to win, that know how to evaluate personnel, and that won't pass on somebody like Deshaun Watson or any of the other 50 million players that they've missed on. as far as guys they passed up or the ones that they've taken just being absolute busts. So you've got to do something. Obviously, it's not working, and no team is perfect. I mean, the draft is not a foolproof system. I mean, the Titans have taken plenty of busts. We've taken plenty of late round guys that have been great and whatever. So it is just luck of the draw, but it seems to me that they're bad in every aspect, literally.
I mean, like you said, they passed on him, but I'm not sure a lot of people realize the Browns had 2 first-round picks.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. They've totally passed on him, and it's just a sign, again, of their just total ineptitude. Did you see yesterday at the trade deadline all the deal with the Browns and the Bengals?
I saw on SportsCenter or maybe Bleacher Report, it said that the Browns botched the trade on purpose. Why would they have done that on purpose?
And see, that's the thing. That was another thing they were talking today on Pardon My Take when they were talking to Ian Rappaport, was they kind of asked him, like, so what was the deal? And so basically he was taking the stance that he didn't think that the Browns were actually the ones to mess up the trade. So basically, in summary, in the NFL, you basically have to get both sides to sign the trade, and then you just send it in. And then all that you have to do after that is just basically send it to the league, they approve it, and you're good. So his point was somebody somewhere sent the papers to the NFL with only one signature. And so basically whenever they went to review it, somebody hadn't signed off. And Rappaport thinks that the Browns were actually the ones in the right in this situation. But obviously public perception is going to say, yeah, Browns suck, they're stupid, whatever. So who knows?
Yeah, man, that's, I don't think people realize also the old Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore and became the Ravens.
Yes.
And that's why, I don't know how long ago that was. But I guess I could blame the Ravens for being how bad the Browns are.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much is it, because basically their last season in Cleveland was 95. And so 96 season was their first year in Baltimore as the Ravens, but that is the Browns. Like, that is the original Browns.
So if you look at it, like, pretty much that Super Bowl that old Joe Flacco and company won is a championship for Cleveland.
It really is kind of crazy, because if they had just left that team right there, I don't think that anything necessarily would have changed. Whether they're in Baltimore or not, I don't think that they don't draft Ray Lewis or that they don't get Trent Dilfer or any of the other things that they've done. So I don't know why that Cleveland couldn't have won a Super Bowl. I mean, they're still in the AFC. They were just in a different city. I mean, really not much would have changed, and I think that they would have literally won a Super Bowl for Cleveland. But they moved. The NFL promised the Browns that they would get basically a new team to join the league, start a brand new Browns tradition and everything else. In it was 4 years, so basically they went from 96, 7, 8 with no Browns, and then 99 they rejoined the league, and they have not done anything since.
I guess that takes us into our second topic of the upcoming game at noon Central Time against the Baltimore Ravens at home at Nissan Stadium this Sunday.
Oh yeah, we're heading up against these Ravens, and they have been very up and down this season. They took quite the beating in the London game with the Jags, but they've also had some good performances. I mean, they really put it to the Dolphins on Thursday night, even though Joe Flacco got it put to him.
True. He really did, man. And I guess that kind of makes a subtopic for us to talk about. I don't know if our listeners have seen the hit. It was pretty nasty, but if you look at it, I guess I should talk about what happened if our listeners haven't seen it. Kiko Alonso and Joe Flacco had a nice little pad popping session.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco was scrambling for the first down, and then he's going to slide and give himself up. And as he's going down, he's in his slide, I guess. Kiko Alonso comes in. I don't know if he got him with his right or his left shoulder, and it bent up Joe Flacco. It was pretty ugly, honestly. His helmet popped off, and his ears started bleeding. I guess I'm going to go with that his earlobe ripped. I'm hoping that's what it was for his own sake, but I don't know.
Yeah, it pretty much. I think it was I think it was kind of that motion of his helmet getting ripped off. It caught his ear hole. Kind of caught his ear in that process of forcibly being ripped off. So I think it just kind of tagged him right there, caused a little blood spill. But see, the big debate is about Joe Flacco said today he thought that Alonso could have held up, basically. He knew that he was going to get hit, but it's Flacco's belief that Alonso could have, maybe not totally just destroyed him the way that he did. Maybe not even just the contact, but, I mean, he really did. He laid the wood to him and knocked him out. And so
it was ugly, man. And, in my personal opinion, Alonso should be suspended and fined. He can say, oh, I couldn't. But if the guy getting hit thinks he can move, he can probably move.
See, that's the thing. Like, it was that awkward moment where Flacco is going to slide, and Alonso is already coming in shoulder first, head down to tackle him. So that's the thing. It wasn't a dirty hit. It wasn't helmet to helmet. It wasn't anything like that. I mean, he totally led with the shoulder. It was definitely unnecessary roughness, which is what they flagged him for. I do. I feel like I don't know that he totally could have avoided contact, but he definitely could have avoided laying that type of contact.
I agree. I think, if his helmet doesn't come off, it's still a bad hit that should be unnecessary roughness. I don't think it's going to get the same reaction that it did with his helmet coming off.
Oh, yeah, it did. It looked absolutely brutal in the slow motion replays and the screen captures and everything else of Flacco just looking completely incapacitated. I mean, it looked pretty bad, honestly.
In your opinion, it's a very heated debate.
Of course.
Joe Flacco elite?
Yes, I do think that Joe Flacco is an elite quarterback, but only based off reputation. As far as his past couple of years' performance, no, I don't think so, because he's definitely slipped. But I feel like in general, he is still an elite quarterback in this league because he's one of those guys, other than obviously an injury or something, you can count on him on any given Sunday to at least give you a chance in the game. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to go out there and lose you the game. He may not win you the game, but he's not going to do anything hurtful. I feel like he's still at least probably top half of the league quarterbacks. I mean, he starts pretty much every game. And so, yeah, I would say he's elite. What do you think?
Well, it's like you said earlier, you're only as good as the guys around you, and it really shows with the Ravens. Back when he won the Super Bowl, he had a lot of playmakers around him, and ever since that Super Bowl, he hasn't been the same, I don't think. That time of the Super Bowl, yes, he was one of the best in the league, so yes, he was elite. Now he's kind of slipping up. He's kind of like, you would take him, but you're not going to give him like what Kirk Cousins is looking for this offseason.
Yeah, I definitely think that he's kind of living on some past glory. In the in case our listeners didn't know, the whole Joe Flacco elite meme kind of started with PFT commenter was the one that started this whole thing years back. Barstool sells the shirts, the Flacco elite shirt. T. Suggs actually wore it one time. That's pretty funny. But to weigh in on this Joe Flacco elite debate, we decided to get an expert's opinion. So we decided that we were going to reach out to President Donald Trump, and he was actually gracious enough to grant us an answer. So we asked President Trump, do you think that Joe Flacco is an elite quarterback?
I think Joe Flacco is actually a very elite quarterback. I would say absolutely he is an elite quarterback.
So there you have it. Obviously, Donald Trump thinks that Joe Flacco is an elite quarterback. And of course, anything that Donald Trump says, I'm definitely going to believe it. So I guess we have our final verdict then. Joe Flacco is definitely an elite quarterback.
I guess.
You can't disregard what the Donald has to say, that's for sure.
Hey, we better watch out, man.
Yeah, really. We might get our podcast taken off the airwaves for being fake news if we disagree.
Oh man, that'll never get old.
But as far as actually serious talk about the Ravens, Danny Woodhead actually came off the injured reserve this week. I'm not sure if he's going to play, but they said he's back at practice, so he'll probably be playing this Sunday.
You know who else is back at practice? The 5th overall pick, Corey Davis from Western Michigan.
Oh, yes. And did you see that the plan for the Titans is that he's going to start.
I did see that, and I am very excited to finally see what this guy's got. I feel like, we saw glimpses of it in the Oakland game.
Oh, yeah,
no other
definitely.
time. I watched a video of him running a route today. It was like just a little a hitch, and it was pretty. And he caught it without hardly even looking at it, it looked like. And I'm excited. I really am.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be something special, I think, because I really do believe that he's going to provide that missing spark to this offense, especially if he slides into this starting role. That means a couple of those other guys get to move down the depth chart a little bit and maybe even face some more favorable matchups.
Whose spot is he going to take on the offense?
I think Eric Decker. I don't think Eric Decker is going to start anymore now. So I think it'll be Matthews and Davis, and then I guess third receiver would be Decker, and then Taylor, and then whoever else. Eric Weems.
Dude, oh my gosh. Eric Weems, dude, just looking at him is like, really? This is who you go out and get?
Yeah, it's
And it's honestly the name, too, Eric Weems. This is Eric Weems, your State Farm agent.
yeah.
This is Eric Weems speaking, tech producer of some TV show. I don't even know, dude. He does not sound like a football player.
No, not at all. And I think he's another one of those guys, kind of like a Joe Flacco. He's living off his reputation. Like this is not like the 5 or 6 years ago Falcons. So
I forgot that even existed, man.
yeah.
He wants to live in the Georgia Dome, it sounds like.
Yeah, he's definitely living on some old glory. That's the only reason he's on our team. But some more injury news as far as the Titans. DeMarco Murray, I don't think he practiced a couple days ago, but he was full participant today. He's not on the injury report at all or anything like that. So he should be playing. Delaney Walker, we're not sure. He seems optimistic, but Malarkey is kind of non-committal on whether he thinks he's going to play. I guess we'll have to see on Sunday whether he gets the dress or not. My gut feeling says no. We're probably not going to let Walker play on Sunday. Quentin Spain, our starting guard, he's not going to play. It's going to be Schwenke, I'm pretty sure. He's got that injury rolling, old Spain, so I don't know how well Schwenke's going to fare, and the only other injury that we're really worried about is Cyprian. And they said that he's been doing a little bit more in practice, but he's not full participation like Corey Davis. So, again, he's one of those kind of game-time decisions. I think him and Delaney are our two biggest question marks this week about are they going to play or not. What do you think about those injuries?
Man, if I remember correctly, you told me Delaney Walker was in a walking boot.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
Was he on crutches as well?
I think he was just in a boot last week before the bye. I haven't seen or heard whether he still is or not. I think that he's not. I think we've been holding him out of practice, but I think that he's had cleats on and everything. So I think he's out of anything like that. Maybe just in a brace or something.
If I'm the Titans coaching staff and he's telling us, hey, yeah, I'm good, he's not. If you go back and look, and you're not going to be. It was really, I guess it was a similar injury to what happened to Tennessee's wide receiver Josh Smith. He had some serious ligament damage. He's probably done for the year, but just the slightest little turn of an ankle that you saw with Kawhi Leonard this past NBA postseason it can be brutal. It's just I would not push him. As for DeMarco Murray, I'm not pushing him either. Because if you really think about it, how big is this Ravens game? Is it worth losing two of your best offensive guys or, giving it to a pretty good backup in Jonnu Smith and Derrick Henry?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And same thing with Cyprian. Honestly, Kevin Byard has stepped up huge, very huge. So, you don't worry about him at all. And honestly, Denoris Cersei has actually played serviceably. Really, he's definitely not done a bad job spelling Cyprian in this time when he's been out. So honestly, same thing. I wouldn't push Cyprian either. But the only one that I'm very happy and very confident in is Corey Davis. I feel like he's really going to show us something. I feel like he really wants to show us something on Sunday. And I really am. I'm very curious. I'm very excited. And I can't wait, honestly, to see what he's going to bring us.
How much of a game changer is Corey Davis going to be? Is he going to make us a wild card team, or do you think he'll make us a home playoff game team?
I feel like he pushes us into that realm of we will be in the thick of things in our division, which means, depending on how the rest of it shakes out, we will either be the winners of this division or will be a close second place, which would mean wild card. Hopefully, we can win this division, and I definitely think that we still can, especially with the Colts reeling the way they are. We've already got one over them and one over the Jags, and I think that we sweep both of those this season. So if we can pick one up over the Texans, I think we've got this division on lock because we've still got some terrible teams to play down the stretch. So I really do. I hope that he can push us to, I don't know about home playoff, but maybe at least a wild card team. That's pretty much what I'm hoping for at this point. Maybe he pushes us into that division winner level past the Texans.
That's something like you're saying you're excited to see, and so am I. I just hope he's actually 100%. And at this point, I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah, his comment was he actually admitted that not necessarily the coaching staff, but kind of just his own expectations. He came back too fast. He should have never played. He could have been back 3 or 4 weeks ago if he had never come back. You know what I mean? He basically re-injured himself, took it too fast. He didn't go slow enough about his recovery. And so he felt the pressure. He felt rushed, and that's basically set him behind even more. So hopefully now he's 100% and he'll be ready to roll. I guess one thing we didn't mention was, do we think that we win against the Ravens on Sunday? Definitely.
I'm going to say that's tough, actually, because it could go either way. But if I am a betting man, which I'm not, can't afford to, unfortunately, I would say we win late. It's gonna take us a little bit to pull away because considering what Alex Collins has done for that offense and how not good we've been against the run, our secondary will be fine. They don't have any, they don't have a Calvin Johnson. They don't have an Anquan Bolden. I think we'll win this game. We'll say Corey Davis has a big game because I think he'll be excited to get back. And I say we'll put up a lot of points, and I think they will too. I'm going to say we win this game, hopefully 34-24.
I'm thinking that we do pick up the win in this one. I think just the way we've been playing, it's going to be close. But I think that the Titans could pull away in this one. I think there is that potential. I think if Corey Davis maybe has just a fantastic game and is really just tearing things up, if Murray or Henry, either one, kind of gets things going on the ground, if we could bust a big play with, Matthews or Taylor or something like that too. If Delaney does play, I feel like that gives us even another edge. So I think the Titans win this one. Going away just a little bit, I think that this one might end up being maybe a 28-14 affair.
I like that. That's respectable.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good one. So basically, at that point, then the Titans will be 5-3, right? Yeah, because we're the 4-3 right now. So we'd be 5-3.
Does this take us into our last segment of the day?
Yep, I think that this is going to lead us into our playoffs discussion.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
As Coach Morris said, we really do hope that we can at least win another game. That's our biggest thing, is just trying to figure out where the Titans are going to shake out the rest of this season. And I guess we can kind of take this on like a game-by-game basis if you want to. Let's see here. So next week, we've obviously got the Ravens. We've already discussed that. We won't go into too much detail on that one. And then the week after that, on Sunday the 12th at 12 p.m., is the Cincinnati Bengals. So what do we think about that one?
Dude, we better beat them by 50 points. I mean, the Bengals will obviously be out of their comfort zone.
I think I don't know where the Bengals will be by that point, as far as they're not playing so great right now, just in general. So I feel like that's definitely a winnable game, definitely.
Oh, if Andy Dalton's at quarterback, it's always a winnable game.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those where we're kind of, I think that we'll be favored, but you can't be too sure, I guess. That's one of those I feel like that we'll have a good time in that one, and I think that's one where we pick up the win. So that basically will take us to 6-3. And so then we have to go up to Pittsburgh on Thursday night and play the Steelers. I'm not so sure about that one.
I'm telling you, dude, every time we go up there, what do we come back with?
Maybe we do get that W. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, what do you think is going to go down in that one?
I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers that lost to the Chicago Bears are going to roll out because it's Thursday night. It'll be a short week, and they complain about that more than anybody.
Yes.
At this point, everyone's saying they're dangerous. Dude, they're the Steelers. They have like a 40-year-old overweight quarterback.
Right.
Who's been in the league for 50 years. We should win. We really should. At that point is kind of similar to last year where the Titans will get the ball rolling on all sides.
Yeah, and I mean that would be huge because basically if we beat the Ravens and the Bengals, that'll put us at 6-3. If we could pull that one off, we'd be 7-3 in week 10 or week 11. That would be absolutely putting us in a great position to be able to run away with this division at that point. Because after the Steelers, which I don't know if I can take us in that one, but I'll give it to us. I guess we can say that we'll be 7-3 at that point. We play the Colts, and I think that one will have to be at Indianapolis, and then we have the Texans the next week at home. So that's another stretch of 2 division games. We got the Colts first, and then the Texans. How do you think we fare in both of those?
Dude, I'm not even going to talk about the Colts game.
Yeah.
I'm not even. I am not even. At that point, maybe they have Andrew Luck back, which if I'm them, I'm not. You can't risk it. You want a high draft pick. So we're going to win that game 30-0.
Oh, yeah.
Any game that I think the Titans will win, they're going to win by 30. So let's say the next week against the Texans, we better win that one.
Home. Yeah, it's at home, so that'll be important.
Yeah, we better win that one. I'm going to say, I don't know, I guess I'll take us to lose in that one.
Yeah, I don't know. We always do poorly against the Texans. At that point, I don't know if we'll have lost in a while. We'll be kind of due for one bad performance. It's always against them. And I feel like Watson will still be rolling. I feel like he's having that Dak Prescott kind of rookie season. And I feel like it's going to hurt us. But I think we go 0 against the Texans this year. But I think we sweep the rest of the division. So we'll still be in a good spot. But, it's going to hurt us in that tiebreaker unless we finish with a better record.
Which I think we will. I mean, they lost to the Seahawks, and we beat the Seahawks. Not that says anything. But
right.
That's kind of a – I mean, it's hard to, take the Titans in a situation like that where they lost 57-14.
You're right.
And it was really not ever close.
No, it wasn't at all. And so it's hard to pick the Titans even at home. We're kind of giving them a few lucky breaks here, getting a couple road wins. And we still got some bad teams to play. I think that Pittsburgh game is kind of a toss-up. I think this Houston game is definitely a toss-up. But the Bengals game, that Colts game, I think those are easy walk in, walk out. We've got the victory. All right, so the next week after that Texans game at home, the Titans will face off against the Cardinals. And that one's actually a 3:05 kickoff for once. I guess we'll be playing on Fox. So how do you think the Titans will fare against those Cardinals at that point?
Well, I got to start off by saying I wish the Titans played on Fox every Sunday. It is so much better than CBS.
Yes.
Just everything they just roll out, like some no names for the CBS game for the Titans, and then sometimes we get like Joe Buck or like.
Oh yeah. That might actually be a decent crew with us and the Cardinals.
Yeah, because at that point in the season, like, is it home or away?
That Cardinals game is at the Cardinals. So that's another tough one.
I don't know, man. You got to remember Carson Palmer broke his arm.
Right.
which that just miraculously came back into my head. But if he's back if he's not back and all they do is hand to AP, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's another toss-up. I think I think that falls into that same category as the Texans and Steelers game, as in it could go either way. Maybe the Cardinals are totally slipping by that point, and maybe we have totally slipped by that point. You never know, but I think that is one that we can actually go on the road and win, because I think at that point we'll be rolling and the Cardinals will be reeling a little bit. But that's one of those things that's a little bit too far in the future to be able to totally tell. But an educated guess says that we win that one pretty handily. So the next week is at the 49ers. So recent developments have made this game a little bit more interesting, but according to Kyle Shanahan, we're probably not going to see Jimmy Garoppolo at all this season. So I don't know what that game will hold for us.
They should spend the week out there and enjoy themselves, because it is the 0-8 currently San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, exactly. And after that introductory press conference, Kyle Shanahan, he said that there's a very good chance that Garoppolo does not play this season, or he might by that point. It'll be like weeks in, but he's basically just saying you can't understate trying to learn a new offense, and that basically they brought him in to his quote was, "We didn't bring him in to save our season. We brought him in to improve our organization." My thing is they might almost give him a red shirt and just not even throw him into that dumpster fire.
Well, isn't he on the last year of his deal, his contract?
Yeah, but they said that the 49ers plan on giving him the franchise tag, or maybe even just extending him if he'll sign.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought they would definitely go after Kirk Cousins.
No, they said after this deal that they pretty much planned on putting the tag on Garoppolo and either letting him play under it or trying to sign him to an extended contract. I think the number one Kirk Cousins destinations now might just be Jacksonville.
Oh, that would make me sick. But that would make it arguably the best quarterback division in football, because you have Marcus Mariota, you have Deshaun Watson, Andrew Luck, and then you would have Kirk Cousins. Those are, if they keep up, Deshaun Watson could very, very well fall off, which, as you've seen, Dak Prescott has also fallen off because he's been figured out.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. You don't ever know what the future holds. I mean, we don't know how Andrew Luck is going to fare whenever he comes back. Maybe he's not ever the same again. We really don't know. Marcus, I think his trajectory as far as his career is headed way, way up. But again, you don't know if he could have a catastrophic injury or something and just totally derail him. And Deshaun Watson, I mean, this is his rookie season. So like you said, with the whole Dak Prescott this year, you just never know how they're going to play in year 2 and beyond. So after that 49ers game, which I think that we both are saying that the Titans are going to take running away, is a home game against the Rams.
That's interesting, man. Sean McVay has got the Rams playing out of their minds right now, which, is good for the NFL. A good team in LA that's a football team, pretty wild, And Jared Goff is actually looking like a franchise guy and totally back to his Heisman hopeful self while he was in college at Georgia. I am actually to take, it just depends. It's hard to tell from this far out, like you were saying, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams.
Yeah.
I think we get our tails beat, actually. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're the Rams everyone knows and loves, that the old 8-8 Fisher coached. But
Right. This one's actually going to be on Christmas Eve, 12/24 at 12 p.m. And so I don't know if that'll factor in anything. And same thing, I don't know where the Rams will be at by then. Right now, they're looking like they're going to be in the thick of the playoff race. But we know that halfway through the NFL season, you really have not seen much of anything yet, because I don't know that some of these teams that have performed great to this point might not continue, and some of these underachieving teams, like the Seahawks always find a way to do, they find a way to win that division every single year, regardless of how they start.
Yeah, they could start 0-8 and somehow still win the division.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. So that's another one of those. I think it falls into the toss-up category, but I think we might squeak that one out just because it is a home game on Christmas Eve. I feel like I don't know how the fan support will be, but I mean Christmas Eve though at 12,
Yeah,
people might be out in full effect.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like a 7 o'clock kick. You're not gonna be putting cookies out for Santa just yet. I may be in attendance for that game. I hope I am. Hopefully, haven't given up on the season at that point. But it's kind of like I said, and as you said too. It's gonna be hard. It's hard to tell. I'm gonna leave it as a toss up. I know I said we get killed, but that's just me, just saying stuff.
So our last game of the season on New Year's Eve is going to be against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. We actually closed out with 2 straight home games. Another 12 kickoff. That could really decide our season right there. Just like last year, getting that sweep over the Jaguars could decide where we're at as far as division standings, tiebreakers. I mean, we really don't. We don't know how good they're going to be by then. So this could be to put us over them. This could be to put us over the Texans in the division standings if we really do get swept by them. This game could have massive implications, or it could have none, depending on how both of us get to that point.
This is also a tough game, but when was the last time we lost to Jacksonville at home?
It has been a minute. I really don't know. We've lost a few times in Jacksonville over the past 5, 6, 7 years, but I really don't know the last time that we lost to them at home.
And that is going to be my prediction. We will not lose to them at home.
No, I don't think so either. And since we've already got the one in Jacksonville, I think that we can both say, as far as our season predictions, respectfully, that the Jaguars and the Colts both get swept by the Titans this year. I think we go 2-0 against both of them, but I think we catch that sweep against the Texans. Do you agree?
So what are you putting us at 12-4?
I think that's where we're heading to. I think is where we're looking, because basically I'll take us against the Ravens, so that'll put us to 5-3. I'll take us against the Bengals, that'll put us to 6-3. I don't think we get the Steelers, so that'll put us to 6-4. I think we take the Colts, so that's 7-4. Texans, I think that's a 7-5 right there. Cardinals, I think we get that one, so that's 8-5. 49ers, I think we get that one, so that's 9-5. Rams, I think we lose that one, so that's a 6. And I think we get the Jags, so I think I'm going to put us at this point right now, a few games that we could toss up and win. At worst, 10-6.
That's a good prediction. You never know. The Titans always seem to lose one game they shouldn't.
Right, and they already have.
Yes, they really have. That's out of the way. And Marcus said in his press conference today, we have proven nothing.
Right.
We haven't achieved anything. And that's the mindset that they need to have, and they finally have it. So I'm going to put the Titans. Call me crazy. I already have 3 losses right now. Titans will end the season at 12-4, with our only loss, our only other loss. Probably, if I was flipping a coin, it's either going to come on Thursday night or to the Texans. I think every other game is winnable, and if we get rolling, we should be favored in every game except that Steelers game.
Yeah, I think that one's going to be a tough sell on Thursday night in Pittsburgh, especially because we won't have gotten the ball rolling completely at that point. Maybe if we've won 2 straight, it might be a closer spread, but I think we won't be favored in that one. And after that beating we took against the Texans, I don't know that we can be favored in that one either. So, like you said, I think that 12-4 is like best case scenario, because like you said, we've already lost 3 games, and we're going to lose at least one more. Even we're not crazy enough to think that. So, I think I'm just going a little bit more moderate just because I'm a little bit jaded by the Titans. We always figure out a way to lose at least a couple extra games that I feel like we shouldn't. So I think 10-6 is where I'm going to take us, and you're going to say 12-4, right?
I am going to say 12-4, and I will stand by it until they lose their 5th game.
That's the thing. We'll definitely have to do a old takes exposed at some point. If the Titans totally just falter, or if we pull, a 2008 and just win like 8 or 9 straight games, maybe then we can pull it out and say, man, we were totally off base, or we were totally right with how we were going. I feel like it's going to go one way or the other. I feel like we're either going to be way off, or maybe we'll be close.
Hoping we're close, but you never know. It's the Titans.
Maybe we'll be way off, but in a good way. Maybe we don't lose another game. Who knows? Maybe we'll beat everybody by 30.
You never know, dude. Corey Davis might be that game breaker, dude. I'm telling you, he could be.
This could be Randy Moss rookie season type of thing, man.
Yeah, dude. We have a proven quarterback, proven O-line. Maybe at this point a proven receiving core, but you never know.
Yeah, I really do, though. I just look up and down this Titans roster. I really feel like that the Titans have a roster that you can compete with. And I feel like it's the first time in a long time that down the stretch that I honestly feel like that we're in a position to win games and maybe even win playoff games.
That would be best case scenario. You never know, though.
No, and you really do. You don't ever know. And the thing is, I just feel like that we're built a little bit more steady than we've ever been. I feel like this ship has been righted by John Robinson. I still don't know that I trust Malarkey completely, but I'm more in the 75% approval rating at this point. He's not totally in the tank, and obviously we're not doing bad right now. There's still just a few things that bother me, but I feel like some of them are more tied to the coordinators, not him.
Always the scapegoat, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just like Lyle Allen Jones and Larry Scott here at UT.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That's I hope that these Tennessee Titans are never in that position where we're just trying to drive a guy out of town and it's just not working. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll ever get back to that point with John Robinson, but you never know.
Yeah, things could totally turn around at any point. Maybe that's one thing that we can do here. I guess our last little segment here. What is the number one thing that could totally derail this season, and what is the number one thing that could make this season for you? So one extreme or the other, which one? Pick one for each.
Okay, that's a good one. The one thing that could make the Titans lose, 10 in a row?
Oh, yeah.
Or however many games we have left is if Marcus gets hurt again. If he gets hurt again, we are the Ken Wisenhunt Titans. And the one thing that could really propel us forward is, our offense is already very good. If our young guys in the secondary, like Odorje and Kevin Byard, those young guys get going, I'm telling you, the Titans are going to be dangerous.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'd say I agree with you on 100% on the derail the season would be Marcus getting hurt. If he gets hurt, our season is over. I don't care how many games we've already won. I don't care anything about it. If he goes down, we go down. We don't win another game. I really don't think so, because I definitely don't want to see Brandon Weeden, and I don't want to see Matt Castle, and I don't think that we'd bring in anybody else. Already we've cut Tyler Ferguson off the practice squad. Tanny's out for the season, whatever. So that would be what we're rolling with, and I don't want to see it. And if it does happen, I don't think I'll be catching another game. So I think that would definitely be the thing to derail the season. As far as the thing to make this season great for the rest, I think the number one thing has got to be, I'm going to take Corey Davis. If he propels us into a new level with his play, like we've kind of already talked about, if he pushes a couple guys down the depth chart, it gives them some better matchups, and maybe he creates a lot of bad matchups with his play. Maybe the defenses are totally scrambling to try and cover all of our receivers because they'll be playing so well. And if we can get to that level where we're creating matchup problems for teams, then I think that we'll be doing great for ourselves.
Yeah, man, I completely agree with that. It's gonna be a fun ride.
Yep, I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm very curious to see how we play the rest of the season. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think that's the one statement I'd make about the rest of our season.
I completely agree. All right, man. Is that all you got for this week?
Yep, I think that's everything I've got for this week. So I guess I'll see you back here next Wednesday so we can record up another one.
All right, man. You've been listening to the Feels Like 99 podcast with Drake Kizer and Caleb Waters. You can find the podcast on Twitter at Feels Like 99 Pod. You can find it on YouTube at Feels Like 99 Podcast. You can find my co-host Drake Kizer on Twitter at Drake Kizer _. You can find myself on Twitter at Caleb Waters _14. So signing off for myself and my co-host Drake Kizer. This is Caleb.
Thanks, ugly God. Thanks, ugly God. Thanks, ugly God. Thanks, ugly God.
Yeah, I agree. Wow, that was awful. I guess I could say that again.